Welcome to the Trust Factor Radio, bringing you interviews and insights to unlock the power of the subconscious mind to create authority, credibility, and trust. With your host, the Authority Architect, and best-selling author, Neil Howe.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and today my special guest is Jody Resnick. He is the founder and CEO of Trighton. It's a full-service digital marketing agency based in Orlando, Florida. And Trighton helps law firms realize significant growth and increase in profits by blending best-in-class website design with innovative digital marketing strategies. And prior to starting Trighton, Jody led digital marketing teams at Marriott International, the Ritz Carlton Brand of hotels, and Hickory Farms, where he pioneered the online sausage industry. Jody has established himself as an industry source with expert features in Forbes, the San Francisco Chronicle, and the Wall Street Journal. And with Jody's leadership, Trighton has won Best Legal Website by the prestigious Interactive Media Association for 6 years consecutively and counting. Jody is proud of the long-standing agency-client relationship his company holds with the second largest personal injury law firm in the US. Well, I'm very excited to talk about, this specific niche, Jody, so welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me, Neil. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, tell us a little bit of your background before we got started and how Trighton came about.
Certainly. So I guess I'll throw it right out there. I was born in 1977, and I bring that up because when I was a freshman in high school, it was really the first year that the internet was starting to be integrated into education. So then, 4 years later, when I was a freshman in college, it was truly the first time, in history where, again, technology and the internet was really becoming prevalent. And I remember switching out the, Dewey Decimal System for books. I'm sure a lot of people don't even know what that is now. The old way to look up books in a library, with being able to find research and even resources in the library using the internet. So I bring that up because being my exact age, I truly was one of the, first of our generation to grow up and be educated with the internet. So my very first job, actually, I was a senior in my undergrad program, and I got an internship at a company called Hickory Farms in their electronic commerce department. In 1998, most people didn't know what electronic commerce meant. Quite frankly, I remember going, for the interview, and I was talking to some of my friends, and I was like, I want to make sure I understand this correctly. Exactly, what do you think electronic commerce is? Obviously talking about e-commerce, but it was so new back then. We literally, at Hickory Farms, who's a specialty food and gift retailer, had to convince the CEO of the company. I remember that people would actually put their credit cards in on the internet, and he looked at, my boss at the time, like he had three heads. I remember we were in his office. He thought we were crazy. And we felt very confident that actually people would feel comfortable enough with the internet and technology, and it was a more efficient way to, interact as opposed to, the old way of ordering from a catalog, which was extremely cumbersome. And I think that first year, we only did about maybe 20 orders, but I'm the only person, at least that I'm aware of, that can truly say that they pioneered the online sausage industry. Because through my tenure at Hickory Farms, which was a span of almost 8 years, we went from doing, 20 orders in 1 year to having one day doing over $1 million in revenue. And that's a lot of sausage and cheese gift baskets.
Yeah, definitely. That is going way back. People weren't really sure what the internet was for back then, and to try and convince somebody that e-commerce was the way to go was probably a fairly hard sell.
Absolutely. A lot of skeptics, there's still skeptics today, in 2018. So certainly back then, but it was a very, interesting transformation as, this was happening all over the world. But in the, dichotomy of Hickory Farms, they had a mail order entry room. So if someone wanted to place an order from a catalog, they would actually have to cut out a page of the catalog, write all their information, write where they wanted to have everything shipped to, put this in an envelope, write a check, snail mail this in. And then on the business side, there was a whole humongous area of seasonal workers. And all they did, it was called mail order entry. And these people would literally key in these catalog orders. And now in retrospect, it's got to be one of the most inefficient processes there were, but that's the way it used to, that was the norm, and people were very accustomed to doing it that way. Now, most catalogs, I don't recall seeing a, order form like that in a catalog in, years and years. So let's flash forward a little bit. I went to back to school, to business school, got my MBA, and then wanted to relocate and took a job in hospitality as a director of internet strategy at the Marriott, where I was in charge of all of the search engine marketing for both the Marriott Vacation Club and the Ritz Carlton Club, which is their wholly owned fractional real estate product. So managed very large search engine marketing budgets, AdWords. Back then, there were some other players that we worked with as well, and also was responsible for the search engine optimization strategy for some very, significant brands.
Then you made the move to starting your own company with Trighton. What drew you to that?
Absolutely. Well, the experience, working in such a large corporate environment was, drastically different than what I had become accustomed to initially in my career. Hickory Farms wasn't a especially small company, but in comparison to, Marriott and the Ritz Carlton Club, it was significantly smaller. So it had a different kind of, make it happen and more being involved kind of culture where, in larger corporations, much more bureaucratic, decisions take much longer. I can remember on, more than one instance, we're based in Orlando, Florida, and Marriott is headquartered in Bethesda, Maryland. To do something as simple as, wanting to, change around a couple pages of our website, we would have to, make a huge pitch and a presentation and fly to Bethesda with our vice president and, pitch this to the digital marketing team at Marriott. And most times they would say, no, that's not a good idea, and they didn't really even understand our business. So I got frustrated of not being able to make it happen. And that's really one of my favorite things to do. So, really enjoy being an entrepreneur, and helping businesses, and hard work. I can tell you firsthand, hard work pays off. And, that's why I wanted to go into business for myself, because I work hard and I know that that's the key to success. So with that, I opened up Trighton Interactive just about 8 years ago. And at first we worked with clients all across the board in terms of vertical, what type of businesses they were. We're primarily focused in B2B. And then as, a couple years passed, we found ourselves with, quite a few clients in the professional services vertical, more specifically law firms. And I made a strategic business decision to, really focus in on that niche for our product and service offerings. So today, Trighton Interactive, we primarily work with attorneys, law firms. About 80% of our business, that's really our core, and we have a very, strong expertise and proven track record in that vertical. But we also work with some very obscure, B2B businesses, and we enjoy a challenge of talking to people besides lawyers every once in a while.
Well, yeah, every once in a while that does make sense, just so you have an understanding of what else is out there. But really, picking a niche like that is a very wise decision. A lot of companies, digital marketing companies, never really get around to finding that niche. But once you do, you can certainly get a reputation for it really quickly, as you have. Now, tell me some of the issues that these law firms and attorneys are having that they come to you for help.
Certainly. Well, the main reason law firms come to us is because they're looking to generate new business, and they're looking to do it as efficiently and as cost effective as possible. There's only so many ways that you can get new clients for a law firm. And I'm more specifically think of like an auto accident or an injury, a law firm that needs to continuously bring in new clients, as opposed to maybe, a business law firm. So they need cases constantly to operate their business profitably, and there is very fierce competition in that vertical. We have clients all over the world, all over, I'd say, in each of the largest major metropolitan areas in the United States. And it is beyond hyper competitive. So, it's no longer the case that, you could go to college, go to law school, even graduate at the top of your class, and be assured that you're going to be successful in terms of making a lot of money. It's just not the case anymore. There's so much competition, and with the internet, it's also, as one of my clients have put it, they call it the great leveler. And that client is close to 70 years old and is at the top of his field in medical malpractice in New York City. But from his perspective, he's had to fight a lot younger and less experienced, maybe less qualified attorneys for the same cases, just because they've spent the money on a nice website and maybe made up reviews. So, I've seen it from both sides, taking advantage of the internet in terms of, heightening your brand and, elevating certain aspects. But, also for the, more experienced people out there, the more experienced, brands who aren't necessarily as fast to the plate in terms of their website or digital marketing, it's even more challenging. So a lot of times, they come to us, 2018, we're not speaking with many people who haven't already worked, with an SEO firm already, or worked with, a digital marketing agency of some sort. We hear that in almost every case, in addition to, their son or their nephew knows how to program in WordPress, and, their partner's wife is familiar with SEO, which makes everything even more interesting. When people have little bits of information, it can almost be detrimental and dangerous sometimes. So a big part of what we do is really educating our clients, making sure that we're completely transparent with everything that we do. I know you talk to a lot of people who run digital marketing agencies. Anyone who's running a successful SEO, search marketing, really any kind of interactive shop, and being successful at it, they have to be transparent. There's no other way around it. When I say transparent, it means that our clients, they always know what we're doing on their behalf. They know if there's budget being spent on media, how much that is. And then we have completely, transparent monthly reporting, So, and this is the essential part, especially, working with attorneys who, hold our feet to the fire literally every month for results, as they should. But it's essential when it's sometimes difficult for them to even understand exactly what you're doing, to also then quantify a value and being able to justify, spending money with an agency on a monthly basis. So, tracking and reporting is absolutely paramount, in terms of, really quantifying the value, to them. I tell our clients a lot, this is very true. This is the best investment. It's really an investment. So try not to look at it as an expense. Certainly no one wants to spend money, but if you follow the plan, it is absolutely an investment. And we've seen that time and time again, with our clients. They come to us because they want more business. And we have a slew of very successful case studies of just that, helping law firms grow, exponential growth, being able to hire additional attorneys and grow and even go national. So we know that the opportunity is there for these attorneys and law firms to really capture high quality new clients from the internet. It's just about, how they go about, or who they engage with to go about making that happen. Because there's a lot of practitioners out there that, don't necessarily do things, 100%, by the book, or may take shortcuts that actually lead to problems, for some of these guys.
Right. And as you say, it's an extremely competitive industry. You said that they might take a little bit of advice from this person and that person and try and do a little bit here and a little bit there. But ultimately, there needs to be that whole strategy that you're working on. And that education part that you were talking about really has to set the expectations to, see the results in maybe 6 months to a year. What kind of expectations do you see these attorneys have when they come to you? Do they expect results overnight, or do they understand that it's going to take a little while?
Well, they do expect results overnight, but throughout our sales cycle, and that's, like you said, part of the education, we're setting expectations, and it doesn't happen overnight. We used to tell clients, could take up to 3 months to see things happening. Recently we've seen things happening, much, at a more expeditious rate. I guess there's so many factors and variables, involved in that, but it's critical to set expectations. The vertical with these law firms is so competitive that, clicks in AdWords can many times be north of, $85 to $100 per click, which adds up very, very quickly. Especially when a lot of law firms, these guys are constantly searching these terms. They click on each other's ads, an extra 10 clicks, $1,000. So typically for the clients that really need to drive instant action, make their phones ring and get new clients, we'll devise a strategy where we can leverage some paid media initially, whether it's AdWords, paid social, whatever the opportunity is. And the long-term goal and really strategy and plan built around search engine optimization, and ultimately getting them to show on the first page, toward the top of the first page, for the keywords that we deem to be most relevant, that people would search, their prospective clients would search when looking to hire them. So that's always the long-term strategy.
So what is the strategy for a law firm, as far as, what you do for paid, what you do for, content and building out their site, as well as linking? What kind of whole strategy do you put together for them?
Certainly. The paid search needs to be monitored, almost 24/7. You almost have to use a bid management platform because of the level of competition and the way the costs can add up so quickly. So we've been successful at profitably driving, new cases in business for our clients by not casting as wide a net, and being very laser targeted in our focus, and also implementing advanced strategies such as, we call it hyper-local geo-targeting, finding areas where there is a higher propensity that there's qualified clients for this law firm in that area. So it would make sense for us to, pay a premium for the clicks in that area. So really, using our brains, collaborating with our clients to devise advanced strategies to gain competitive advantage over, our clients' competitors, who their agency or whoever's running their campaign might not put as much strategy or thought into, the minutia of detail that we're doing when we're setting up these campaigns. So that's really the necessary to maximize, success or any investment in that channel, dealing with law firms.
Now, when people actually get to your client's webpage, I'm looking at your site right now, Jody, and you've got a lot of testimonials on there, which is great. Is that something that really makes a difference as far as conversions?
No question. Absolutely. And, you're referring to video testimonials. So we have, obviously written testimonials, but you'll see right on our homepage, we're trying to showcase instantly results coupled with a video testimonial of the attorney from that specific law firm. People know how easy it is to write a fake review, or, to just put words on a page that say, oh, these guys are the best, they did da for me. But when you can actually have video testimonials, no question, it absolutely increases conversion. And it really helps, substantiate that trust and credibility that is so important, especially, as we talked about in this vertical, where there can be, snake oil salesmen, for lack of better words, or, less, scrupulous agencies out there.
And that really makes a difference, because especially in the law business or attorneys, if you're paying $100 plus per click, or even you get found on the first page of Google, people are still doing research. They're clicking yours, they're clicking your competitors, and they're really trying to find who it is that they want to go with. And having those video testimonials are extremely powerful, because ultimately, if you get a case, it's worth a lot of money. Do you really encourage your clients to do the video testimonials as well?
Absolutely. It is a playbook that has been successful for both ourselves and for our clients. The same thing. Videos. I'm a huge proponent of videos. We all know Google owns YouTube. YouTube's the second largest search engine in the world. People just like videos. They're lazy. They don't want to read as much, but it's undeniable that it's legitimate. I guess you could hire actors and make that up, but the way that we do it and the way that we execute it, or our clients typically will do it, it's very clear that this is authentic and real. By design, we don't implement extremely high production value into a lot of our testimonials, and I would recommend the same for a lot of our clients. I mean, no one wants to watch a talking head per se, but a testimonial doesn't have to be that long. It just needs to be very genuine, And I think that's the greatest benefit from the video testimonials, is really, establishing that initial trust that opens the door to being able to discuss our value proposition, or for our clients, for them to be able to discuss, what types of cases they want, or what, areas they focus in. I found until someone has that trust, it doesn't matter what else you say to them, because they don't know you, and they don't have any reason to really believe, what you say. So the video testimonials are huge at increasing conversion, but mainly because, they help people feel comfortable, establish that initial, credibility and trust factor, and it makes them more comfortable.
Definitely, and people make decisions based on who they trust. So that's extremely important. You've got a lot of other trust triggers on your page as well, with all these awards that you've won as well, which really is outstanding. Now, Jody, if somebody is looking for a digital marketing company to build their law site, what would you say to them? What kind of questions should they be asking before making a decision?
Certainly. I think one of the most important questions they want to determine is what platform the website's going to be built on. We use WordPress almost 99% of the time. I don't see any reason why you'd use another platform for a lead generation site. But more importantly, it's critical that they determine the arrangement for owning the website and the content. They need to be asking, depending on how the payment structure is set up, say I pay off what I think is the website. Do they own the website? And they should own the website. That's how we operate. But I've seen it in many cases where that's actually not the case. Making certain that they actually own the content on their website. So if they want to discontinue, working with the agency, the law firm no longer wants to, pay for the services of the marketing agency, can they just walk away clean and have that website with the content and do as they want with it? Are they going to have access to it? Are they going to understand how to update it? Things like that, I guess, just making sure that the arrangement is future-proof in terms of allowing them the freedom and flexibility to not be tied to this agency for the long term.
Mm-hmm. And that comes back to that transparency again that you were talking about at the start. People need to know who they're dealing with and be able to trust you, like you say, to feel good about doing business with you. That's how you're going to retain the business. So, well, excellent stuff, Jody. Really enjoyed talking to you. If there's something that we haven't talked about here today that you would like to leave with the audience, what might that be?
Well, I would say as we go into the future, it's going to be very interesting, to see as all these new targeting technologies come out. I've heard pitches by Spectrum and how they can geo-target people in home on cable, and it's going to be very interesting to watch how this all plays out. But at the end of the day, in my now almost 20-year career in digital marketing, there's been some very consistent underlying mainstays, which is really providing a very simple, understated, not throwing up on the user. You want to provide a clean website that's easy to navigate, a good user experience with well-written content and clear calls to action. If you can accomplish those three things, you're going to be ahead of the game. And regardless of what new technologies or innovative marketing strategies are devised, those three fundamental principles, I believe, are going to continue to always be, paramount. Trying to do the latest and greatest on your website and, flashy stuff. And it's like, keep it, the old adage, keep it simple, substantiate that credibility, that trust, get a nice credibility bar, make sure your phone number's at the top, by following, some of the fundamental principles, you'll be ahead of, the competition in many cases.
Well, great stuff. Jody, if there's an attorney or law firm listening to this, what is the best way for them to get in contact with you to get help with their site?
Absolutely. Well, first I would say, please check out our website, which is Trighton.com. That's TRIGHTON.com. You can certainly send us an email. We'd be happy. We'll get right back to you. It's info@Trighton.com. Or feel free to give me a call anytime. Our 800 number is 800-407-2068. Again, my name is Jody Resnick, and I personally would be happy to, speak with anyone. As you can tell, I'm usually not at a loss for words. So happy to chat.
All right. Well, great stuff, Jody. Thank you for spending time with me on the Trust Factor Radio. And to our listening audience, if you like what you hear, hit that like button and share, and we'll see you next time on the show.
You've been listening to the Trust Factor Radio with Neil Howe. To learn about the resources mentioned in the show and to listen to past episodes, go to thetrustfactorradio.com. To get a copy of the book, The Trust Factor, go to thetrustfactorbook.com. If you are ready to act now and build your authority, credibility, and trust, schedule a consultation with Neil at theauthorityarchitect.com.